Hey guys, how's it going? Let me just kind of get this guy all set up in the way that I want him to be. That seems about right. There we go. Oh, how's everybody doing today? Who do we got in here? Oh, looks like we're just kind of hanging out with Wrath of Wood for a little bit. That's fine. How's it going, man? Good to see you. Yeah, it's funny. I was originally planning, I knew that I wanted to do a stream today since yesterday. And I was originally planning to do some kind of gameplay, I guess. Not really sure what I was going to do. I had some ideas in mind. But then I got up this morning and Ratherwood says, "What's up?" I'm doing pretty good. Just I kind of out of it. I woke up this morning and I had a really weird dream last night. But it wasn't like, I don't know like why it was so weird to me, because I guess it's not like it was like super strange or anything. So I had this and like I don't know why it affected me in the way that it did, but it did, and it was really weird. So for anybody who cares at all, and I can understand if nobody cares, but I watch PewDiePie, because who doesn't? I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people out there who don't watch PewDiePie, but I enjoy what he does here and there, depending on what kind of content he's putting out. And the reason why I brought him up is because last night I had this dream that, hey Roxas, glad to have you in here, buddy. Last night I had a dream that PewDiePie had quit YouTube, and it was really strange because, like, it didn't make sense, I guess, to me in my dream. And like, for some reason I was like questioning it really heavily in my dream. And it was a weird, like, I don't know why it was so weird to me and it affected me so deeply. Because it, like, in my dream, it was this overall very weird effect. Like, it was like, in my dream, PewDiePie was quitting YouTube for good. Like, none of this stuff where he, says, "Oh, I'm taking a break," and then everybody misinterprets it and then says, "Oh, he's quitting YouTube." It wasn't like that. It was legitimately like a situation where he was like, "No, I'm totally done. I'm never coming back. Like, I can promise you here, from here on out, that I will never return ever again." I don't think he will be that way. It's maybe someday, way in the future, but I kind of doubt it. But anyways, there was this whole thing in my dream where he was officially quitting, and it weirdly affected me pretty deeply, and it made me, in my dream, question, like, my own content creation and things like that. And my ability to create content and, like, my ability to keep up with making content. And it was really strange because it was like, for some reason, seeing him leave, like, affected me and like, the quality of, like, my content. And, I mean, in all honesty, when I'm making content, that's not something I'm usually thinking about. Like, it's not, like, whatever, like, any one particular other content creator that I may watch outside of myself, whatever it is that they may be doing at any given time, is not really something that ever deeply affects, like, how I create my content, or whether or not I'm going to create content. I mean, I will admit that I take a lot of inspiration and I learn a lot of things from the content creators that I watch. But, none of them would ever, deeply influence my content in the sense that, whatever they're doing would cause me to quit or would cause me to completely change everything that I'm doing, So it was just this really weird situation where I was having this dream last night, and it was like, my whole dream was like, yes, it was about the idea of PewDiePie quitting, but it was also all about me thinking really deeply about, like, the kind of content I create and, like, how I go about that process, and, like, how many people, you know, enjoy my content and like who's, you know, what they think about it. And it was very weird. And it kind of like affected me really deeply, especially when I got up this morning. Made me feel kind of out of it in a weird way. And like the one thing that the dream made me think really hard about was the fact that like, you know, as much as I really enjoy doing gameplay on my channel, I don't ever like want to make that like the focal point of everything I do, you know? It's like a nice gateway into making content, but I frequently struggle with the idea of making content based around video games constantly, because that's not something I want to constantly do all the time, which I feel like is pretty clear. You know, like here I am doing a lounge stream where I'm just kind of hanging out and talking about whatever the hell's on my mind. And then I do streams where I talk about anime, and I do streams where sometimes I'll cook something or maybe I'll paint something or whatever. So, I mean, I feel like it's pretty clear that I don't want to always do video game content, but it's just usually like a nice go-to. Like, not necessarily that it's easy, but it's a nice go-to because you can always depend on a game providing you with content that you can make commentary about. So, in all honesty, before I even started this stream, I was actually... Because I originally, like I said, I had planned the idea of doing today's stream where I was going to be playing some game, and I wasn't 100% sure what game I was going to play, but I knew I was going to be playing something. But after I had that dream last night, and it made me, you know, think about all that stuff, I was like, I don't want to play a game today. I really don't. Like, at my core, I'm not feeling it. And I've been playing a lot of games, like, on streams, and I've been playing games for, like, I've been playing a lot of the Honey Pop 2, which has been a large majority of the gameplay that I've been doing lately. And I just felt like that I was getting so wrapped up in all the games that I was playing for the purpose of producing content on my channel that I kind of, like, felt like I was drained of the wanting to play a game as content on my channel today, which is why I originally did want to do something different today because, you know, I did a lounge stream like a day or two ago. So I thought it would be kind of weird if I did another lounge stream today, but I ended up picking this because I was kind of going around and looking around my house and thinking about things online and trying to figure out, like, what could I do to produce content that was not necessarily gameplay. And like, the more I did actually have some ideas. I did actually pull some things out and kind of like studied them, I guess. You know, like I was looking them over. Like, I was actually thinking about talking about some books. I was thinking about talking about some of my comic book collection, because I did have comic books on my mind a few days ago. I was even thinking about, like, my Magic cards, too. Like, I almost thought about pulling out my Magic cards, and I was like, I don't want to do that either. So I kind of just decided, like, I just want to, like, talk. Like, I just want to hang out in the chat room and talk with the people that I enjoy spending my time with. So that's what today's stream is. And, you know, there's a few things on my mind. Like, there was actually something that I was thinking about that was making me laugh really hard. Just literally right before the stream started, I was laughing pretty hard about something that I thought would be fun to talk about. So I'll get into that in a minute. Ratherwood says, in real life, Pewds quits YouTube and the crickets go wild. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's actually kind of funny because I was thinking about how he produces content and how he, you know, does things. And it's kind of interesting to see how he's evolved into this person who can just, like, I'm just going to turn on the camera and do whatever I feel like, and it's going to be great. And it's really interesting seeing a person who can function that way and do those things. It's really inspirational. Like, I enjoy him, but I can also recognize, like, for example, I don't watch all of PewDiePie's content. Like, I feel like I'm a lot more picky when viewing his channel than anybody else's channel. Like, cause, like, a lot of the channels I watch, like, I'll watch pretty much, like, most of their content, if not all their content, but, I guess that's not true necessarily. There's some channels I barely ever go on and hang out on. But when it comes to Pewds, I don't watch everything he does. I just, like, I have recognized that there are certain kinds of videos that I really enjoy the most from him. But I've also kind of, like, been in a certain point where, like, some videos he would make I would be really into, like, they would be like a series, and then I would get tired of it, and then I would just, like, start skipping those videos, and then I would go and watch other videos that he does that are really entertaining. So I don't necessarily consume everything he does, but I assume that's true for most people that probably watch his stuff, and that's probably definitely true for even the audience of any other YouTuber out there, including myself. Like, some people really like some of the videos I do, and some people, you know, skip some of the videos I do, you know, and that's fine. But it's just kind of interesting because he's, you know, I never take anything he does as a serious influence on my channel, simply because he's too big. His channel and his audience is way too large to put on the spectrum for any other YouTuber, let alone myself, you know? So, like, I can't take any video, like, any productivity that his video has, or any amount of views or type of audience he has seriously when I create my own material, because I gotta be honest with you guys, it's 100% not realistic. Like, it's totally realistic for him and what he's done and what he's created for himself, which is totally awesome. But it's not realistic for any other YouTuber on the entire platform. So, like, I can enjoy what he does, but I can't take anything that he does that succeeds for him as a serious learning process for myself or for anybody else. So, for example, like, I was talking, I talked about this a few times. I go around and I study YouTube channels and kind of, like, learn about how they function and what they do and why they do the things they do, especially when they're comparable to, like, my size or only a little bit larger than my size. And those are channels that I can really study and, like, learn things from, because because their audience is so much smaller, much more reasonable, and more realistic for my size of channel. So I can take, you know, that information and repurpose it and, like, learn from it. But when you're looking at somebody like Pewds, who's just 100 million, right? Like 150 million or something like that? Nah, you can't take any of that data seriously. Like, it's impossible. But I definitely, yeah, it was just really interesting because I do care about viewing his channel, obviously, because it affected me in that dream that I had last night. Fajouk says, "Oh, you're live. I'm a fool. I don't think I've ever watched a PewDiePie video." Well, that's alright, Fajouk. That's okay. I mean, not everybody watches him. I mean, it's fine. It took me a long time to come around to his material. Like, I avoided his material for a long time, and then it got to a point of where I was just like, you know, I might as well check him out, see what else, you know, he's got, like, multiple millions of people. Like, this was before he hit 100 mil when I joined his channel, but, like, he was probably in, I don't know, the 60 or 70 million subscribers range or something when I finally joined. So, like, I was, like, you know, late to the original party, but not late to the 100 million party, if that matters at all. But, you know, I was basically at that time, I was like, oh, he's got, like, you know, 70 to 80 million people who watch him, so he's got to be doing something right, so I guess I'll go ahead and see what he's doing. And I watched his content, and I was like, oh, I really like this. Not a fan of this. This is okay. But this I really like, you know? So, like, I was kind of picking what kind of content I liked from what he was creating, and found myself that I was enjoying it, so I went ahead and subscribed, so, you know. And it's fine, you know, it's fine whether you like his content or whether you don't, I don't care, you know? Fajouk, if you don't like him, that's fine. It's fine. I don't care. Ratherwood says, Pewds used to be annoying when he started, but when he grew a beard and got good, I pop in and watch his stuff once in a while. I'm subbed. Well, there you go. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know him before, like, 60 or 70 million, so, like, I didn't know anything about him whatsoever. Like, I remember hearing his name, like, a few times, you know, before I subscribed, but I didn't really pay much attention to anything he was doing, like, ever before. But yeah, it's all right. Like, I mean, I definitely don't hate him. I think actually he's a pretty smart dude, and he seems like he's a pretty kind and caring guy as well, and he works really hard. But you know, like, I don't know what to say. I just, his stuff is fine, you know, no complaints at all. And like I said, it's very interesting to see that he can just kind of turn on a camera and do whatever he feels like, and it works out pretty nicely for him. Fajouk says, I just started watching Mr. Beast. That's a content creator I actually don't watch. I have never really watched a Mr. Beast video before, nor have I ever checked out his channel before. And he's kind of, in my opinion, in that sort of PewDiePie realm, in the sense of, like, he's too big for me to want to, like, study or anything like that, too. So that's another thing where it's, like, that's another reason why I don't watch him. But, I mean, I also, like... I mean, I guess I can't be a... You know, I can't judge because I haven't really watched any of his videos or subscribed to his channel or anything like that. But I'll admit that I've always been kind of judgmental of Mr. Beast and his content because I don't... Like, every time I hear about a Mr. Beast video, it's always, oh, did you see the video where, like, he made blah 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 do blah 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 for, like, $1 million? Or, did you see the video where he made blah 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 do blah 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 for, like, $10,000? And it's like... It just sounds like a guy who's just bribing people to watch his content. Like, you know, like, I mean, no hate. You know, if there was ever a weird reason where Mr. Beast would somehow stumble onto my content... you know, and watching this video. Mr. Beast, if you somehow magically, in the most amazing way possible, were to stumble onto this particular lounge stream, and we're watching this on the backlog, understand that I don't hate you. I'm sure you're a great guy, and I'm sure your content is awesome. However, I've never been interested in Mr. Beast content because... I feel like every time I hear about it, it's always revolving around somebody taking money from him. And, like, it's kind of like when, you know, we've had conversations about YouTubers that do giveaways, you know? And it's like, oh, they do giveaways, and then, like, that's why they have so many subscribers and so many viewers, because they're people who just come in and want to take something away. You know, that's not just the content. They're like, oh, Mr. Beast, I want to be, like, with Mr. Beast because Mr. Beast might give me money. And it's like, well, do you, like his content? Or do you just, you know, like his money? You know? And that's why, like, I'm not interested in checking out his content because that seems like... I don't know, I mean, I do hear people say that he does other things that are not revolving around his wealth and his status, but it sounds like that his wealth and his status is very frequently a major part of what he does, and, like, I don't know, that's not really something that I necessarily want to be a part of, necessarily. Because, I mean, like, I would never want to be a fan of somebody's content because there's a possibility that they might give me money. You know? Like, I'll go and check it out if it's genuinely entertaining, I guess. But, like, if there's a video where it's like, check out this video, because I'll give away money, and it's like, it's not what I want to see. You know? Like, I want something that's entertaining for the sake of entertaining, not because it's the promise of taking something away from somebody that I don't necessarily deserve, you know? What I deserve is good content. I don't deserve... you know, free handouts. Like, you know what I mean? That's just, I don't know. This is kind of how I feel. And I'm sure he's a good guy, like, legit. Like, I hear lots of great things about him. I hear about the wonderful charities he does, and you know, he did, like, a thing where he planted tons of trees or something like that, I think, and that's pretty cool, but, I don't know. It just, it's one of those things where, like, I'm more nervous about, like, being a part of that because of the kind of audience that he probably draws in, which are probably people who just want free handouts. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll go and check out some videos just because, like, this is, like, the first time I've ever really heavily thought about why I don't watch Mr. Beast's content. But, you know, maybe I'll go check something out and see if I like him. I don't know. Because I don't want to be too judgmental, but I just don't like it when... people base their content around people taking things from them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Hey, what's up, Maz? I'm sorry I didn't say hi to you earlier. Glad to have you in here, girlfriend. How you doing today? Oh, today's St. Patrick's Day. Is that so? I didn't realize that. I didn't even know that. That's weird. Fajouk says, the last Mr. Beast I watched, he sold houses for $1. See, like, exactly. Like, you know, like, I mean, that's cool, I guess, but, like, I don't know. Yeah, because I just, like, the problem I have with that is because I feel like that when you make content like that, you're attracting the worst kind of people. You're attracting people who just, like your content because they can get something for free. They can get, like, free money or a free house or whatever, you know, and I don't know. Maybe I have the wrong idea. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like something that I would enjoy because, like, I don't know. I just don't like that mentality. Like, mostly, and I mean, it's not geared towards the creator. It's geared towards the audience that creator attracts, you know? Because there's a lot of people out there who, like, will do stuff, like, will be a part of that because they expect to get something for free. You know, they don't care about what the actual content is. They care about, you know, what are you going to give me today? You know, like, what free object or money or monetary value are you giving me today? You know? And I don't like the feeding of the greed, you know, like, and like I said, like, you know, it's obvious that he must be a nice person to be doing that kind of thing in the first place. But I feel like that, you know, having an audience like that kind of really says a lot about what kind of content succeeds and prevails overall for a content creator like that. But like I said, I really don't want to say anything bad about him, like, because I you know, from what I've heard, he seems like a totally great dude. Especially, like I said, him giving away millions of dollars to people or multiple thousands of dollars to people for whatever weird reasons should be a great, you know, sparkling review on what kind of character he is, you know? Like, clearly he's a very generous and nice person, but I just feel like that it's the audience that suffers, like, because you're just attracting people that are not necessarily the best kind of characters, I guess. I don't know. Let's see here. Fajouk says, I don't want free handouts, but I get your point. Well, I mean, yeah, if you're just enjoying the content, that's fine, man. And, like, you know, like, I don't want to also say that, like, anybody who watches Mr. Beast is expecting a free handout, because that's not true. Like, clearly that can't possibly be true. But I just, it's one of those things where it's like, it breeds greed. You know, like, yeah, like, not every person is greedy, but doing that kind of thing breeds greed in people, you know, and that's what kind of really bothers me about it. Hey, DLG, you just got off work? That's cool, man. Alright, we'll see you in a little bit, DLG. You do you, brother. Rutherwood says, Beast is okay, not really the most compelling material, to be honest. Oh, okay. He's got some modded Minecraft videos that are decent fun. I have heard people talk about that. I was really surprised because I was watching some videos and reading some comments recently that were talking about Mr. Beast, and I was really surprised when multiple people were saying, like, oh yeah, he's a Minecraft content creator, and I was like, what? Really? He's a Minecraft content creator? Like, then why is it that all I ever hear about him is when he's, you know, giving away free money? You know? Like, you know what I mean? But it's fine. It's all cool. Yeah, I mean, I watch a large range of different content creators, but I always watch them because they're entertaining. I don't watch them because I'm expecting free shit, you know? Like, I mean, the free shit that I get, like, from any one content creator is, the free stuff is the content they're making, you know, not, you know, free prizes that they're giving away. It's the content. Like, because, I mean, YouTube is a free platform where you can consume, you know, video content for free. So, like, I'm here for the entertainment. I'm here for the content. Like, I don't have cable. I don't have satellite. I don't, you know, I don't want to pay for any of those stupid, you know, streaming services. because I get wonderful, great content for free on YouTube. So it's like, that's what I'm here for. You know, that's the entertainment I'm getting. So, you know, like, the only thing I would ever want to consume for free from any content creator is their content, you know? But yeah, I mean, like I said, the original subject was that I was kind of in this weird mood about making content today. I don't know. I've been definitely thinking about the Honey Pop videos that I've been doing, and, I don't know. I was kind of having some, like, second guesses about some of them. Not because they're super, like, I mean, obviously they, you know, they have to be censored and stuff like that, and I'm not necessarily worried about that kind of impact. I have been, you know, definitely very wary that, you know, it's possible that someday I may have to delete them if there ever comes a situation where, even though I'm censoring them, the censorship that I'm doing is not good enough for whatever stupid reason. But it's not necessarily the censorship or any of that I'm worried about with the videos, but sometimes I get worried that they're just not, like, good enough, you know? Like, I don't know, it's really weird. I mean, they're getting the same kind of rates that I get with my other videos normally, relatively so. Which is fine, but I just, like, when I've been reviewing the footage and, like, editing them and stuff like that, I get worried that they're just, like, I don't know, like, they're just, I get worried, like, sometimes I watch them and I'm just, like, thinking to myself, like, you know, is this good? Like, is this, like, actually fun and entertaining, you know? And, like, I've definitely taken steps to make sure that, you know, like, what's really nice is the whole editing process really allows me to carefully pull out the parts that are not interesting, to not only shorten down the videos, but also just to kind of pull out the stuff that is just not really worth anybody's time. And then I can keep in, like, all the parts that I think are worth keeping in. At least that's my personal judgment on them. But sometimes, like, I'll be reviewing, like, all the parts that I kept in, and I'll just be, like, meditating on it, like, while I'm working on it and thinking about it and just being like, is this good enough? Like, you know, is this actually good enough? And that was something that was on my mind really heavily last night. And then on top of that, I think that's also probably, like, why I had that dream that I had last night, where I was really, like, concerned about, you know, all the content creation that I've been doing and whether or not it's, like, good enough, I guess. I guess that's what's been on my mind, is whether or not it's actually good enough. And I mean, I want it to be good enough. Like, I'm working really hard on it, and, like, I'm putting a lot of effort into it. And, just, you know, like, making things work the way that they work. And I mean, I've kind of, like, thought about it also that maybe I'm just being too harsh or too judgmental. You know, like the classic saying that your harshest critic is always yourself, you know? So I don't know if that's the case or not, but it's just been, like last night and definitely today as well, it's been very heavy on my mind as to whether or not, like, the videos that I'm doing are in fact good enough, or good quality, or entertaining, or anything like that. So it's definitely been, like, it's not like I'm gonna stop releasing them, and it's not like that, you know, this is gonna make me stop releasing content. But one thing it's definitely been doing is it's been making me kind of think about whether I should kind of, like, change, like, how I record my footage, or the process of editing, or, you know, things like that. So, like, for example, like, I thought episode 3, like, the episode of Honey Pop that I released yesterday, I thought that turned out amazing. I was really proud of myself for that one. But, like, I'm working on, I started working on episode 4 last night, and then I'm also working on it today. I did a little bit this morning, and I'll probably do a little bit more. I might try to get it prepared for early release before tonight is over. No guarantee, but I mean, I'm going to try my best to get that done. But I just was like kind of like reviewing the footage a few times, and I was like, episode 3 was so good. It was so good. Like, episode 3 was so good, and I was like reviewing episode 4 and reviewing the footage, and I'm like, is this as good as episode 3? You know? Like, and then I even started reflecting on like, oh, well, what about the first 2 episodes? Were those as good as episode 3? You know, like, I don't know. It's very weird. Like, I feel like I'm being these last, like, yesterday and today I've been very heavily judging and criticizing my own material, and I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. Oh no, that's okay, Fajouk. That's fine. It's not a big deal. It's you know, this is kind of just an open talk kind of thing, and my brain goes in all sorts of different directions anyways when I do these kind of streams and conversations. And there was, like I said, there was something I was laughing really hard about earlier that I definitely will talk about at some point. I might get into it after I read some of the comments a little bit. Maz says St. Patty's Day is one of my favorite holidays. My favorite holiday is usually New Year's Eve. Had my Irish corned beef with carrots and potatoes with a side of mashed potatoes. That sounds kind of good. Potato salad. So much whiskey, not Canadian whiskey. The only real whiskey is Irish whiskey. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. Let's see. You guys are talking about alcohol. Very nice. Yeah, I had some lunch a little bit before. Nothing fancy. I didn't even realize it was St. Patrick's Day. Like, I had no idea, legitimately. I'm very bad at paying attention to holidays and keeping track of that stuff, to be totally honest. So yeah, I gotta tell you guys about this thing I was laughing really hard about. It was actually putting me in a much better mood. So, as you guys know, I keep talking about it constantly. I'm on the Great Isekai Quest. The Great Isekai Quest 2021 for watching anime. So I've been going through all sorts of isekai animes. I've been going through good ones, I've been going through bad ones, I've been going through meh ones. So I watched like a okay isekai anime. It had some problems with it, but it was okay. It was called like the Death March into Another World or something like that. And I can't remember the full name of it, but it was called like something like that. Let me take a look. I mean, this is beside the point of what I'm actually going to be talking about in a minute, but I thought I'd check out the name. Okay, so the anime that I watched last night, I've been watching it the day before and also last night, and I finished it off last night, was called Death March to a Parallel World Rhapsody, I guess. So that's what that one was called, and it was okay. It was alright. It wasn't amazing. It was fine. But it was like, so it was an isekai anime where so it had a really interesting premise, and like there's a lot of weird things about this anime that like made me like it and also made me dislike it, where they started off with an interesting main character who, you know, the idea is that the main character of this isekai anime is like a black company video game designer, okay? So, and if I remember correctly, the concept of a black company is that it's a company that it's like, you know, like video game companies that are overworking their you know, employees and things like that, where it's like people will eat and sleep in the business building constantly in order to get their projects done. So, and they're literally like people that are working themselves to death. So, and the reason why the show was called A Death March was because it was about this guy who worked for this black company, this black video game company, and the guy was literally working himself to death in this company. And he was designing a video game, or working on a video game that was outsourced to their company, I guess, and he was working his butt off on it constantly. And then what happens is, while he's working on the game, he passes out from I think he chooses to go to sleep, but he's doing the thing where he sets up his bed under his desk and then goes to sleep. And then he is transported into the video game that he's working on, right? So stereotypical, okay? But what made it really interesting was, as the story goes on, they establish that the way that he was... So, they established that the fantasy world that is this video game that he's working on, which, by the way, they also made it so that the game that he's been working on is not a released video game. So, nobody else has access to it, nobody else is playing it. It's a game that was being outsourced by another company to his company to be worked on for the purpose of completion. So he gets sucked into this video game and nobody else has access to it. And he recognizes, oh, this is the video game world I was working on. And then he's got the, video game UI and all that, which was okay, sure, whatever. But what they started doing that made it interesting was that the fantasy world that this game takes place in is, they establish it that it's this fantasy world in an alternate dimension. And he's not the only person in his existence that has been transported to this world. Which right off the bat is interesting, because he was absorbed into a video game that has not been released to the public, right? So then they established that this world is apparently a hub world. It's imagine in Magic the Gathering, the Palanir dimension Dominaria, where it's a hub for other Palanir dimensions, right? And then people can travel in and out of Dominaria, right? So this world that he was transported into from this game is also a hub dimension for other people that are also from different worlds and things like that. And he actually ends up running into somebody who's also from his world. But what they do that's really, like I said, this show had some interesting things going on. They had a character who was reincarnated into the world. And then they have some other characters that were transported into the world. And then they start establishing that this world has these weird rules about being a hub dimension, where the two most common ways is that some people die in the real world and are reincarnated into babies in this hub dimensional world. And then they have rules where there are wizards who will summon heroes from other worlds to fight in that world. So they established that you can either die in one world and be reincarnated by a god into this hub world, or you can have wizards who will use a portal magic to teleport people from other worlds into this one, which are all of your stereotypical kind of isekai tropes, right? But the main character is sucked into a video game for a video game that doesn't actually exist yet. And they kind of establish that this whole thing that happened to him is unique for him. And on top of that, he has UI, video game UI. So he can see a menu, he can see log information, he can see an item window, he can see a status bar, he has a mini map. And they determine that that is unique for him. So, and nobody else has that. So anybody who's reincarnated or teleported into the world from another place doesn't have the video game UI. So and it's really kind of cool, because throughout the entire story, they really build on that. They build on the uniqueness of, his situation compared to the other character's situation of whether they're teleported or reincarnated. And and they have like rules and guidelines for how the dimension works, which is really interesting. They do all these intricate and interesting things that make it interesting. Like it was actually pretty good. But despite all of the intrigue and interesting things that they did, the major problem, and the characters were relatively interesting too, to a degree. But the thing that really bugged me was the show had terrible pacing. Terrible pacing. The pacing was awful. It was so bad. And it was, despite the moments of intrigue that they had with establishing the rules and the, you know, like all the ways that all the characters functioned, and like, you know, the reincarnation versus summoning versus game UI, like they put a lot of thought and depth into that, but there wasn't any end game. You know what I mean? So like, for example, this show has basically no action in it. There's like, they put a little bit of action in like the first episode, and then there's like maybe 2 episodes at the maximum that have action in them. But other than that, a lot of it is just watching these characters kind of like mull about doing their daily lives and daily routines. And there were multiple episodes where just like, there were multiple episodes that I watched the show where I can honestly say, other than the intrigue of the rules that they were establishing for the world, other than that, there were episodes where nothing happens. Like, absolutely nothing happens at all. Let's see. I noticed that somebody was asking, it looks like Fajouk was curious about the title. So, the show was called, it's called Death March. Death March to the Parallel World Rhapsody. So, like, if you're curious about it, because it, like, I'll be honest, it's not the worst isekai anime I've ever seen. It's not. Like, it was not the worst anime I've ever seen. It was just that, like, the pacing was not very good. It didn't have very good pacing. And there was little to no action in it. And what was really annoying about that was because the show is constantly building itself up. So, like, and they lay groundwork for things that are really cool and intriguing. So, like, it's like as if, like, they had, like, all these blueprints and all these plans, and, like, they're building something up to, like, lead you to, like, a climax. But, like, imagine, like, all that build-up, and then there is no climax, ever. Like, that's the problem with the show. Like, for example, they did this one thing that I was really surprised about that looked like it was going to be really cool. They did this episode where they made it seem like that they were foreshadowing to the death of an important character. And they did all these things. They did, like, they set all this groundwork. They, like, they did, like, you know, where they dwell on 2 characters being really close and friendly with each other, where it's like, the only reason you would dwell on this is if you're going to rip them apart doing something, you know? So, like, they did all this, like, foreshadowing and build-up to make you think that they were going to kill a character off, or at least, like, put that other one of the characters in trouble or something, or do something really evil to one of the characters. Like, they had all this foreshadowing and build-up, which the show is great at. They actually do that a lot, where they'll give you a hint or a clue. Like, the main character will, like, realize that he's capable of doing something, and they're foreshadowing for him to use it later. And most of the time they do. But, like, what would happen is they would do these really deep foreshadowing moments where, like, you can tell that they're going to build it up for this huge climax with probably a gigantic, you know, action scene or something like that. And then nothing happens. Like, nothing. Like, all the buildup is just, like, they don't do anything with it. And it's really, like, disappointing because it seems like they put, like, a lot of work into it. You know? And it's like, guys, like, you're working so hard on, like, you got these characters that are actually kind of deep. You're, like, building up all this, like, tension and, like, foreshadowing. You have all these rules in place. Like, you're careful on explaining, like, how your world works, like, how these characters function in this world, like, why they do what they do, like, how they, you know, work as characters, and they do all this build-up, but then there's just no climax to any of it. And it was really disappointing. And it, like I said, like, it sucked because I was really rooting for the show. Because it looked like they were putting a lot of work into what they were doing, and they just didn't have the right pacing, and they didn't have the proper actions or climaxes or anything like that. It was really kind of sad. But, I mean, yeah, and the thing is, too, is that if it came out with, like, a season 2, I don't think I would watch season 2 because I would be worried they would do the same thing again, you know? Where, like, they would just constantly, it's like they're, like, leading you on with the idea that something big is going on, and then that big thing just never happens. It just never happens. Oh, hey, Bo Falcon's in here. I didn't know you. I don't know if I said hi to you. I'm sorry if I didn't, but glad to see you, buddy. Looks like, everybody's kind of... Excuse me, guys. It looks like everybody's drinking, I guess? Okay. Alright, everybody's getting wasted. That's kind of cool. I feel it. That's all good. I got a challenge for you. Something that's been bothering me, but I'm going to turn it into a drinking game. Every time I say the word or like, go ahead and take a shot. If you can do that, you might be dead by the end of the stream. I really want to work on that. That's something I want to personally work on, especially when I'm making video content, is not using the word like and so much. Anywho, now that I'm aware of that, I'm, like, making this great effort to hold my tongue so that I don't say those words. So, I did talk about that anime quite a bit, and it wasn't even the main point of what I was trying to talk about that made me laugh so hard. So, through all of that, after I had finished, you know, watching that anime, ooh, Maz, you were gonna be, don't die. Don't die, girlfriend. So, after the challenge of getting through that anime, which I was fairly disappointed in, I immediately picked up another anime, and good God, this anime that I started watching it last night. I watched 3 episodes of the show, and from the first episode, I was like, this show is so bad. It's so bad. But I watched the first episode, and I was like, immediately able to recognize that the show was so terrible. But I finished the first episode, and I was saying to myself, I need to watch another one. There's no way this show is this bad. Like, I have to watch another one. I put on episode 2, and I watched it, and I was just thinking to myself, it's so bad. It's so bad. I have to watch another one. Why? Why do I have to watch another one? So I watched episode 3. And then I bookmarked episode 4 because I had to go to bed. And then today, I had to watch episode 4. And it's terrible. And then I watched episode 5. And it's terrible. It's just... So, like, for anybody... Have you guys ever watched Mystery Science Theater 3000? Are you guys Are any of you guys MST3K fans out there? So, when I was a kid, and even now, I would watch Mystery Science Theater 3000. And that is a show where a human character and his 2 robot pals sit in a theater and they watch terrible movies and they make fun of the movies while they're watching these terrible movies. So, Bo Falcon warning everybody about not drinking to me saying the words and like. Yeah, I'm trying really hard to... Now that I've, like, made the challenge, I'm trying really hard to not say those words. So, watching Mystery Science Theater 3000, it's usually a show where these people watch really bad movies because they're funny to watch. And even though the movies are bad, you can find hilarity in watching them because they are a funny kind of bad, right? And it's even hilarious to, like, listen to the characters make fun of the movies while they're watching them. Yeah, I did. I know, Maz. I try really hard. It's a personal... It's not only a challenge for you guys, it's a challenge for me, too. I really need to work on that. So watching Mystery Science Theater 3000 with that in mind, that's the effect that this anime that I started watching recently. Like, I started watching it last night, and I continued to watch it today, and it's hilariously terrible. It's so funny. I will watch the show, and I will just sit there and just be appalled by how terrible this anime is, and I laugh at it. It's just like watching a train wreck in slow motion, but it's like watching a train wreck in slow motion if that train wreck was full of clowns. It's hilarious how terrible it is. So, if you guys are curious about this, I would recommend this anime in the sense of letting you guys know that it is terrible. It's a terrible anime, but it is so funny to watch it because of how terrible it is. So this anime, let me find it real quick. I am currently on episode 7. I watched all the way to 7 episodes at this point. It is called Demon Lord, retry, exclamation point. So, Demon Lord, retry! That's what this show is called. It's awful. It is awful. It is so bad. And the thing is about it is that everything about it is bad. Everything. The animation is terrible. The figures are ugly. The voice acting is awful. The lines, like the script writing, is just... bleh. It's awful. It's so bad. Everything about it. The animation, the character drawings, the character builds, the script writing, the voice acting, just the settings, the plot drive, like everything about this anime is just absolutely awful. But it's so funny. It is so funny to watch, and I can't stop watching it. I can't. It's so hilarious how bad it is. I could tell you guys about it, I guess, if you guys are really genuinely curious about it. It's kind of like the previous anime that I was talking about, where they're also very vague with the details on what's going on. The first episode... So, it's the first episode of the show, kind of explains to you that the main character is a obsessive game player, right? And he's... have you guys seen Overlord? Have you guys seen the show Overlord, the anime Overlord? So the first episode sort of builds the storyline like Overlord, basically. I don't know if this show came before or after Overlord. I might have to look that up later. But it basically tries to set it up like Overlord, where the idea is... And this is just how the first episode tries to explain itself. And you'll see, you'll understand why I'm being so explanatory about why I'm saying episode 1 explains it this way. because the details in the later episodes are contradictory to everything they established in the first episode. So in the first episode, they explained that the main character is kind of an otaku game player who plays an MMORPG, and he plays a character who is evil, kind of like Overlord, and he plays an MMO, and he plays an evil character who is a quote-unquote demon lord, just like Overlord, and he explains that the game that he's playing is going to be shut down forever, just like Overlord, and he plays the game one last time before logging off for the game to be shut down. So he kind of goes in, says goodbye to everybody. He says goodbye to all the people that he played the game with. Like, they even have a chat log, and he's saying goodbye to everybody and all these things. And he, logs off of the game and goes to bed. And then he wakes up in his body of his character. But he wakes up in the body of his character in the game after some wizards summon him, I guess? So that's kind of the background. That's basically the background that they set up for the character in the first episode. So, okay, sure. Whatever. So he comes into his body and then meets a cute girl with a damaged leg, and then starts taking care of her, and then he goes on his adventures, and he starts meeting other people, and blah blah blah, stereotypical isekai with a harem where every girl falls in love with him. However, they then move on into the next set of episodes where he starts... Actually, he even did it in the first episode, too. He starts being able to access administrator commands, and able to, write code and take whatever he wants and have anything that he wants, and he has, the UI, and he can summon anything he wants as an administrator of the game. And then as the script goes on, they start saying, oh yeah, I created this game. This wasn't a game I was playing, this is a game that I created, and I was the creator of it, and I'm an administrator, and I have all these administrative abilities, and I can do whatever I want. And I thought to myself, well, wait a minute. That's not what you established in the first episode. You established in the first episode that this was a game that you were playing, and it was being shut down. So, were you shutting the game down as the game's creator? And if so, how long of a lifespan did it have? Why did you shut it down? What company were you working for? I thought you were just a gamer. They just start having all these weird conflicting points, and the character is obnoxiously edgy. He's obnoxiously edgy. But at the same time, they try to establish him he's being edgy to roleplay the character that he's supposed to be. And the voice acting, oh my god, you guys, the voice acting is so bad. It's so bad, but it's hilariously bad. It's hilariously bad. The best thing ever is the main character, when he's talking in his head, he speaks like his normal self, but when he's playing his character, he's purposely putting on a deeper voice that sounds really fake, and it just sounds so awful. It's so bad. Oh man. And then don't even get me started on the script writing. The characters are so... just the things that come out of these characters' mouth is just the most... Oh, I forgot to put my phone on silent. Whatever. The lines that come out of these characters is just top tier kinds of awful. You cringe. You cringe when you hear some of the lines these characters say. And the jokes make you cringe too. There's this, oh god, what was it? So, he meets a character who is an exorcist or something with pink hair, and he beats her, but he doesn't want to, like, kill her. So what he does is he picks her up and he starts spanking her, right? He starts spanking her. And after he spanks her to punish her after that, she becomes obsessed with being spanked, and she becomes obsessed with her butt. So she has all these lines throughout the show where she's clearly obsessed with her butt and his interaction with her butt and him spanking him. So just the most cringy butt jokes come out of this woman's face constantly. And on top of that, they're not funny, but they're trying so hard to be funny that it's hilarious. It's the fact that it's not funny is what makes it so funny. It's so bad. It's so bad. And then they have him able to log into his other characters, I guess. And he logs into this other character who's supposed to be like a dragon dude or something, who purposely says really edgy teenager kind of things, but you can't tell if he's trying to roleplay the character or if he's forced to be that character. So he logs in as this other character, and then he starts saying all this very teenager, edgy kind of things that are just absolutely cringy and embarrassing to listen to. And he just acts like a douche. And then he comes back into his normal body state later, and it's like he hates himself for being that way. And then I have to ask myself, are you role-playing these characters, or are you forced to be these characters? Because you established that you're role-playing the character that you're playing right now, right? But you're not role-playing the other character, you're being forced to be that character? It's so ridiculous. And I can't stop watching it. I can't, you guys. It's, like I said, it's like watching a train wreck full of clowns moving in slow motion. And it's hilarious because of how bad it is. I can't. I have to finish watching it. Like, at first, I even remember, after watching the first episode, I said to myself, I don't think I can watch this. It's terrible. And then something compelled me to watch the second episode. And then after the second episode, I said, okay, I'll watch the third episode, and if it's still terrible, I'll stop watching it. And then after the third episode, I was saying to myself, this show is awful, but I can't stop. I can't stop watching it. I can't. It's so hilariously bad. And if you guys are, you know what, if you guys are into that, like I am apparently, go and watch it. It's called, what did I say is the name of it again? It's called Demon Lord, retry, exclamation point. So Demon Lord Retry. That's what it's called. Here's the thing. I've watched bad animes, right? I've watched some bad animes, and usually when I watch a bad anime, I will stop after, maybe 1 or 2 episodes, 3 at the most, right? And a lot of the time, when I watch bad animes, I'll have, really critical, criticisms about them, where it's like, I have to say to myself, I'm being a very serious anime watcher, as serious as an anime watcher could possibly be, I guess. But, I say to myself, how's the plotting? What's the depth of the characters? Is the setting good? Are there interesting rules to the world? You know what I mean, right? I'm trying to kind of understand the anime, and is the animation good? Is the dubbing good? Is the script writing good? All those things that would matter. So, I'll watch an anime, and a lot of the animes want to be taken very seriously. Some of them will be... Sorry, I was reading some of the comments and they made me laugh. I'll get to them in a minute. A lot of the time I'll watch animes that are bad, and I can just stop watching them because the level of badness that they have is not entertaining in the slightest. It's just, it ruins the anime, you know, and I've left anime because of bad animation. I've left bad anime because the writing isn't good. I've left bad anime because the characters suck. Whatever. This anime is the full package. And I feel like that it wants to be taken seriously. It feels like it wants to be taken seriously. But it fails in the most... It fails at everything it does in the most outrageously spectacular ways possible. And you can tell that it's trying really hard, but watching this anime fail in the ways that it does is the funniest shit. It is the absolute funniest stuff I've ever seen. And I can't stop. I can't stop. I have to finish it at this point. There are some animes that I've watched where it felt like they could be good, and I tried to stick with them a few more episodes than they deserve, but this one deserves a full watching because I was watching the show right before I did this stream. I was watching episode 6 of this show right before I came into the stream, and I knew, I was like, I have to tell everybody about this show. It's ridiculous. It is so ridiculous, but I don't know. If you, like I said, if you guys enjoy watching things that are funny because of, like, if you guys are fans of movies like The Room, if you guys know what The Room is, which is like it's a famously terrible movie that is so funny because of how terrible it is. This is an anime version of The Room, essentially. It's so bad. It's so bad, but I can't stop. I really can't. I will catch up a little bit. DLG says MST3K is awesome. I had a friend take some fanfics and miss them with a certain cartoon crew. That sounds kind of cool. Looks like Fajuk is desperately trying not to drink. I assume he probably left as well. That's what it looks like. Scorba Guy says, what you are describing is the combination of the train wreck effect and sunk cost. Yeah, I know about the sunk cost fallacy where you've gotten deep enough into it that you can't stop. I'll admit, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it for all of the wrong reasons, but I am genuinely enjoying the anime because I don't think I can't recall. I've been recommended actually a anime that is that is famously terrible. It's like infamous how terrible it is. But I didn't watch it, but this one is definitely going down in history as one of the most hilariously terrible animes I've ever seen. Even just like I said, the voice acting. There are times where, like, I will sit and just, like, I'll turn on an episode, and then the first thing that I always say every time I start an episode of the show is, oh god, the animation is so bad. It's so bad. It's not the worst animation of all time. Like, it is not the worst animation I've ever seen. However, it is very recognizably terrible. Just the movement is terrible on its own, but even when the characters are standing still, it's awful. They look so bad, you guys. They look so bad. And it's hilarious. I even remember one night I was watching it was last night, and I was watching an episode of the show. They had a character who was kind of an important character, I guess, and they had a group of people around them, and they were all still image characters, and they had no detail to them at all. They had no detail to them, and they looked so ugly. And they're one of the I'm crying from laughing at this right now because it's so funny how bad it is. They had this scene where one character was asking him was asking one of the other characters in the background, what should we do next? What do you think is our best move? And I was watching this and laughing because of, like, the dubbing of the voice actors to the animation is off just enough that it looks so horrendous. And then, like I said, the script itself, the script writing is so bad. And I just sat there and I dubbed in a line on my own. I was saying, well, maybe the first thing we should do, sir, is get more detail on our faces. It was so funny. It's, like, as I said, guys, check this anime out. If you just want to have a good laugh at how terrible this anime is, you should really check it out. It's so funny. As long as, like, if you're like me and you can enjoy a hilarious piece of crap in the same way that I can, I highly recommend it. It's so freaking funny. All right, let me catch up a bit more. Fajouk says, I plan to get drunk after I finish editing, which means after I leave here. All right. Better to be late to the party than miss out completely, says Maz. Okay. It's like, how bad can it get at this point, says Rathwood. Yes, when you're watching it, he gets admin first episode. Yeah, he does. I'm pretty sure he does. He does this whole thing where he summons, like, a black portal. They don't even get creative with it. Like, the previous show that I was talking about, the character was able to, like, go into, like, all the game UI and manage it, and they made it look like legitimate game UI. It was pretty clever. In this one, he just says, provide me admin access, and then a dark hole opens up in the middle of the scenery, and he just reaches in and grabs something out. And it's just, it's magic, I ain't gotta explain shit! or it should be, it's admin, I ain't gotta explain shit! It's so good. But yeah, he just does whatever the hell he feels like. It's so funny. It's so funny. Fajouk says goodbye. Let's see. DLG says, quick, someone spike Maz's drink with something non-alcoholic. Yeah, give her a glass of water. DLG, I can taste the difference and get a new drink. There you go. Bo Falcon says, hashtag butt onions. Man, you guys are just not gonna let that go, I swear. I will have to deal with butt onions for the rest of my life, I can clearly see. I will say this, though, like, when they have that character, the girl with the pink hair, and her obsession with her butt after the episode where he spanks her, it's so weird. It's so weird, you guys. It's the weirdest thing. She after the whole, like, she gains this obsession. Well, actually, no, wait a minute. They establish her obsession with her butt before he spanks her. I actually just remembered this. There's a scene where right before the main character meets this character and spanks her, she is riding in a coach, and the coach driver drives over a rock, and the coach bumps up, and it hits her in the butt. And she talks about how sensitive her butt is and how serious she is about taking care of her butt. So she's just got an obsession with her butt. And it's so off the wall and ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Oh man. I promise you guys, after this stream, I'm probably gonna go and watch more of it. I might finish it tonight. Like, I don't know. I do have to do editing, though, so maybe I won't get to it right away. But we'll see. But it's so just... I can't stop. I can't stop thinking about it. And it's so bad. It's so bad. Ratherwood says, oh my god, I'm gonna have to have my own isekai where I get trapped in some derpy, cringy indie RPG Maker game. That would be really interesting. I feel like I've seen a joke for that in some anime at some point. Or like they're in an RPG Maker game. Let's see here. DLG says, so inverse Sword Art Online major fan service MST3K material kind of anime adds to list to watch. It's hard to, I don't know. It's like I feel bad that I'm recommending it because I'm trying really hard to find all the best isekai anime, you know? But I can't help but talk about it and enjoy it because it's so funny. It's so funny how terrible it is. Let's see. Touch me, drinky, better be this under the sink. Okay, Miss Maz, you got it. DLG says, the power of Jesus compels you! I mean, that cool Mexican guy down on the corner. Okay. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I know Jesus. He's a pretty chill dude. Jesus compels you. Hey, Zoo, what's up, girlfriend? How you doing? I'm just talking about really terrible anime. I should probably move on. I just can't get out of my mind. It's been on my mind since last night when I first started watching it. And it was funny because I kept having that moment where from the first episode, I said to myself, I shouldn't watch this. I think I can... I was constantly making commentary about how bad it was. And then I got to the end of the first one, and I said, I gotta watch the second one. I have to watch the second one. And then I watched the second episode, and I said, okay, this is a 3-parter. I'll watch the third one, and then I'll finish it. And then I won't watch anymore after the third episode. I finished the third episode, and I said, I have to watch more of this. What? Why? Why do I want to watch more of this? It's why? Why? Hobbs, come over onto the green side. Get in on St. Patty's Day fun. I have a ton of alcohol. Let me see if I can kind of show you guys the insane amount of alcohol. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it from here, but I'll kind of rearrange it here a little bit. Let's see. See those bottles up on the cabinet? Right up there? See that? See those bottles up there? That right there is my secret liquor cabinet. I know it only looks like you can see only like 3 bottles. There are so many bottles of alcohol in there. And I also have a gold reserve bottle of Jameson as well. So, which I've never opened. It was given to me as a gift a long time ago. Here, let me show you. I'll bring it over. It's kind of like a special thing that I got from a very good friend of mine when I moved away from California. This is something I've been saving for a really long time. I mean, I'm not going to crack it open on camera. It's too special. This is a very special bottle of alcohol that was given to me as a gift by a very, very good friend of mine a long time ago. The Jameson Gold Reserve. And I've opened the box before. It's even got this special little case that it's in. There it is. Jameson Gold Reserve. And I have had that for how many years now? Let's see. I've had this for 7 years and it's untouched. I plan to save it for some kind of very special occasion. Who knows what that may be? Not really sure, but maybe someday. And I also have a lot of other alcohol too. I'm not much of a drinker, you guys. Not much of a drinker. I have a lot of alcohol and I don't really use it very much, so it's just, I don't know, alcohol is not really my kind of thing. I like to have a beer every once in a while. I use alcohol to cook with sometimes, but not much of an alcohol drinker in general, to be totally honest. Just kind of make sure that you guys can... There, that looks a little bit better. Maybe a little off. No. Right there seems just fine. All right. But yeah, I have quite a large alcohol collection. I just don't drink very much, so the alcohol just kind of sits up there, not really being used for much. I also have a cocktail shaker, and so if I wanted to, I could make some pretty fancy drinks if I really, really wanted to, but it's really just not my thing. It's really not. Let's see here. Zoo says final paper. I'm dying. I'm sorry to hear that, Zoo. I hope you get through it pretty good. Maz says... Oh, I already read that. Zoo wants some alcohol. Looks like everybody's drinking today. Oh, those are good. The best kind, I drink that right... The best kind, I drink that right now. Okay, Maz. What brand of Baileys? It's not actually Baileys. It's Jameson. It's Jameson. Unless you're talking to somebody else who mentioned Baileys and I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry. Drinking that exact kind right now? Oh, the Jameson? Really? Gold Reserve? Okay, cool. DLG says, I think to say right now Maz wouldn't plead the fifth, she would drink it. There you go. That's good. Zoo says, I'm surprisingly modest with how much I drink. Yeah, I mean, I used to drink a lot when I was younger. And as I got older, I started drinking less and less, to be honest. I used to party a lot when I was a teenager, so that was a major contributing factor to it, was that I just partied a lot, I drank a lot. And then as I got older, I found myself doing it less and less and not really being as much of a fan of it as I used to be. So I kind of just got lazy with drinking, I guess, if being lazy with drinking is a thing. I mean... And the thing is, too, is I don't like drinking alone, which is another reason why I don't touch those alcohols. Not a lone drinker. That kind of sucks. So, you know. I've actually been really good, you guys. I have been... not doing much, like not really drinking much, not really smoking much, not doing anything like that lately. Been very, very sober for quite some time. I think a major part of it is because I'm looking for jobs and all that, and don't want to be under the, you know, influence of anything that could get me into trouble with any particular job I may be involved with. So, been pretty good, pretty good. Let's see here. DLG says, I really don't drink myself. I'm afraid to really find out what kind of drunk I would be. Well, I mean, it's okay to drink once in a while. I mean, I think that drinking with other people is the best way to stay safe. You know, you can enjoy a drink with somebody, and that's usually fine. And drinking alone is where it gets kind of ridiculous. Zoo is a giggly drunk. I'm kind of I don't know what kind of drunk I am. I mean, I'm sure that, you know, if G Gamer or Jabin were in here, they would tell you what kind of drunk I am. I guess I'm a fun drunk, I think. I mean, I used to be really good at beer pong when I was in high school and college. I was very, very good at beer pong. I even have some pretty interesting stories about that, where I used to do trick shots and win games single-handedly here and there, and master of bounce shots and really good at distracting people and getting like perfect shots and things like that. That was really fun. Rotherwood says, drinking is overrated for me. By the time I was allowed to drink in public, I was over it. Yeah, that's the thing is I'll be honest, I drank a lot in high school. It was not okay. I had a lot of drinking issues with being in high school. In fact, some people thought I was probably overdoing it. Yeah, especially I did some really not okay things when it came to alcohol back when I was in high school, so... Let's see here. Zoo already knows what her preferred drinks are. Amaretto? Okay. Rotherwood says, I'm a spicy drunk. Very nice. I like that. I like that. Maz is a comedian drunk? Oh, God. Oh, God. She's just wasted. Be like, yeah, how about airplane food? Oh, I'm such a dork. All right. So, yeah. Alcohol. I prefer beer most of all. I used to drink much harder alcohol when I was younger, but I prefer beer most of all. I'll drink hard alcohol when I'm out with friends, if we go to a bar and somebody orders a shot or something like that. In fact, actually a while ago, what was it? I went out with a friend of mine, and she took me out to a bar for some drinks. And it was really funny. She ordered us, I believe she ordered us both a shot and a half of whiskey. And she said to me, she was like, do you want a shot? I'm gonna have a shot of whiskey. Do you want a shot of whiskey? And I was like, yeah, whiskey sounds good, sure. So she orders us some whiskey shots, and the bartender hands them over, and she grabs for hers, and I grab for mine, and I just take the shot and I just down it. I just bam, and drink it all in one go, no chaser. And she just looks at me like, oh, and then she takes a sip of hers, and she says to me, I mean, I ordered these with the idea and intention of sipping on a shot of whiskey, and I said to her, oh, I thought these were shots. I just took the shot. That's what I'm used to. That's what I know. When somebody says, do you want a shot? That's what I do. I didn't know that we were going to be sipping shots of whiskey. I didn't know that was a thing we would do. It was so funny. She looks at me and she says, well, yeah, you're right. You that's what you do with shots. So yeah, that's fine. So we sat down at a table, and I just kind of watched her drink her shot of whiskey slowly. It was super cute. It was so funny to me, because that's when somebody says, hey, do you want a shot? You know, my thought process is, oh, they're going to hand me a shot glass with alcohol, and then we're going to cheers, and then I'm just going to down it, and then they're going to down theirs at the same time, right? That's how you take shots. So, it was a very strange experience. Oh, man. But yeah. And we had other drinks, too. Like, she ordered some kind of cocktail. I don't really have preferences on cocktails or anything like that. So whenever she ordered a cocktail, I would usually order something as well. And I remember ordering a beer that was really not good. I ordered something, what was it? It was something like a citrus blonde or something like that. And it was not very good. I did not enjoy it. Let's see here. I'm behind. Zoo says, though, my drinking was my parents being chill with it because I was home where it was safe. Okay, that's kind of cool. I definitely had a couple of drinks with my parents a few different times. Usually, though, most of my drinking happened when I was with friends. And it was not good. I actually remember getting really badly in trouble one time with one of my parents for drinking alcohol. But it's whatever. Love fruity drinks, says Maz. Okay. I'm definitely more of a beer drinker myself. Zoo likes hard ciders. Hard ciders can be okay. I usually, really sweet ciders are not my thing. If you guys, like, the kind of ciders that I usually like are Crispins, which are very sour and bitter kind of ciders. Those are the kind of ciders that I like. Let's see. But I drink about anything if somebody brought it to me. Well, there you go, Maz. Okay. DLG says, pushes glasses up. Scientifically speaking, alcohol is a solution. I get it. Zoo likes Moscatos. Okay. Very cool. Hard ciders, Maz says, that sounds pretty good. All right. Let's see here. Vashon has a cider fest only beat by Leavenworth's. Never been to a cider fest before. That does sound kind of interesting to check it out. Ratherwood says, who sips shots? Lol. Apparently she does. She's a good friend. She's a good friend. In fact, actually, she contacted me the other day just to check up on me because I've been I think I kind of explained to you guys, I've been very out of touch with people lately. I'm kind of going through a out of touch phase when it comes to people in my life right now. And a major part of that, to be totally honest, is I am not working a job right now. So I don't really want to spend time with my friends when I don't have a job. And, you know, it's a part that, like, I don't want to be spending too much money, and usually when I'm with my friends, I like spending money on my friends, and I like spending money, you know, alongside of my friends. and I don't really have the ability to be spending lots of money right now. So with that idea in mind, I'm purposely kind of staying away from my friends so that I don't have to spend much money at the moment. And a couple of my friends are very concerned about the fact that I don't have a job at the moment. I will hopefully be starting my job very soon, though. I'm hoping probably by next week. We kind of ran into a snag, and it's a little sketchy, but I think everything should be fine very soon. I'm working my butt off. In fact, actually, that was something I was working on today, is trying to get all of the things situated with my new job so that I will hopefully be able to start my new job next week. Because I'd really like for that to start as soon as I possibly can, because otherwise I'm going to get a little sketched out. But I'm not really spending much time with my friends right now because money issues, you know? I think you guys kind of know what I mean. Like, I don't know. Let's see. Irish car bombs are fun? I feel like maybe I've had that before. I don't know it immediately by the title, but it sounds kind of familiar. Sipping shots? Oh, Zoo sips shots. Well, there you go. I mean, I don't really... It kind of makes me think of, like, when... Oh, what is it? When you pour yourself, like, a glass of scotch with a giant, like, rock of ice in it. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I think when I think sipping shots, you know? Like, you're just having a glass of scotch with, like, an ice cube in it or something like that. So, I don't know. I get the basic premise of it. Like, you're enjoying the alcohol. Like, you're enjoying the flavor of it, the taste of it, the essence of it. It's not for the purpose of just getting wasted. It's for the purpose of enjoying something, you know? So I kind of get that she would do that. I will admit, one thing that I have been thinking about recently that's been on my mind, it was because I watched a couple of shows where they were doing it a lot, and it made me realize how much I miss it. Do any of you guys smoke cigars? Are any of you guys cigar connoisseurs? So, I love cigars. I do. In fact, cigars are... Remember I was talking about in the other stream, the other lounge stream, where I told you guys that I really like bitter flavors, which is why I drink coffee black and things like that? So, I love the taste of a good cigar. I really do. I love how they taste. I love how they smoke. And I have had, these last few days, the most intense craving to smoke a cigar, like a nice, high-quality cigar. I've wanted one so badly. And obviously, like, I'm fine with going without one. Clearly, like, it's been on my mind, but I'm not going out and buying one. And also, I can't really afford cigars at the moment. So that's not something on my to-do list. But it's been on my mind. It's definitely been on my mind. I've definitely had that craving. I told you guys about watching the anime Saga of Tanya the Evil. There's a lot of cigar smoking in that show. And every time I watch that show would give me a craving for cigars. Watching the big, Hedwigs kind of smoke really fancy cigars made me really want to smoke a cigar. Because I don't know, it's been years. It's literally been years since I've had a good cigar, and I kind of miss it a little bit. Let's see here. Zeus says, I was the after party care, Brookie's cheesy grilled cheese. That sounds so yummy. A good hardcore grilled cheese sounds delicious. Lots of water and a feel-good movie. Kind of makes me think of when, at the end of, what's it called? Superbad? Where the two guys are escaping and they run back to the main character's house to have a sleepover. And they're trying to sober up while they're, like, having their sleepover together. Maz says, just consider me the girl version of Steve Stifler from American Pie. I've actually never seen American Pie, Maz. I've never seen the American Pie movies. Zoo says, and by grilled cheese, I mean the cheap but super stringy cheese. Oh, like mozzarella? That sounds really yummy. That sounds really, really yummy. My favorite sipping drink is spiced rum. I've had a spiced rum before, but it's been a long time. I've had a couple of really good drinks that I've had were, I think it's called, what was it called? Like a butter, I think it's like a butter rum, like a butter beer kind of rum. And it was like a hot drink, and that was really good. I've also had a hot toddy, which is really good. And it's funny because all those drinks I've had at the same restaurant. I had them at different times at the same restaurant. It was a steakhouse, a really fancy steakhouse in town. And they served hot toddies and they served buttered rums, which were very, very good. Let's see here. Maz says, I don't smoke. Okay. Ratherwood says, grilled cheese. That does sound super good. You guys are actually making me hungry. Might go out and... It's funny because I bought some ingredients for making food. And now, even though I could make that, I'm kind of craving something... like a grilled cheese does actually sound really good. But I don't have... Oh, wait, I do have cheese. I have cheddar cheese. I should check the date on it. Oh, but I don't have bread. I should have bread in the house. Maybe I'll go out and buy some bread or something. I don't know. I don't know what I want. You guys are giving me the munchies. Stop it. Zoo says, I would die from my smoke and weed allergies. Oh, okay. Makes sense. I guess I'm probably the only person in here who probably likes cigars. It's been a long time, though. I don't smoke them regularly, and like I said, I haven't smoked any in years. One of my fondest memories was back when I used to live in California. Every once in a while, we would go over to one of my friend's house, and he lived by himself, and we would go over to his place, and we would pour ourselves a nice glass of scotch, and we would smoke cigars, and we would sit out on his porch and in lawn chairs and sip on a nice glass of scotch with a cigar in hand. Those were some good times. Those were some good times. In fact, actually, whenever you guys see G Gamer or Jabin, those were two of the guys that I used to do that with. We used to go out on one of our friends' porch and we would smoke cigars and drink scotch. It was very fun. Good times, good times. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm a little behind. I know I am. Craving more corned beef. Oh, corned beef is so good. I wish I had corned beef. Maybe I'll go to the store and just order like a quick hot meal or something. I don't know. Munchies forever. Ugh. So bad. Yeah, like I said, I bought a lot of cheap food today just to kind of like make it by for a little bit so I don't have to spend too much money on food right now. I'm trying to cut back my costs on a lot of things until I get my job all situated. But, you know, I wouldn't mind going to the store and getting something fresh and hot. That sounds really good. Maybe I'll go and buy some bread and make some grilled cheese. I'd have to check to make sure that cheddar is good, though. I don't know if the cheddar I have in the fridge is still good. It's been sitting there for a little bit, so hopefully it's not bad, but it might be bad. It's just because I haven't used it, so when I don't use it for a long time, I just kind of leave it in there and forget about it. Not too good. Yeah. It gets a little concerning when I bring home food that, especially, I try not to fill my fridge with food. I really don't, because I forget about it. I do, and then it goes bad, and then I feel terrible about it. You know, I have a very bachelor-style fridge. I live my life as a bachelor. I don't cook very often in my apartment, and it's just, I try not to fill my fridge too much because otherwise it just sits there and it goes bad, and that gets me kind of nervous, you know? I don't want to do that. I don't want to buy food just to let it go bad. I have been trying to be better about buying cheaper food, though. That is, buying food that I can prepare easily and have it last me a long time has kind of been a concern of mine as well. like I said, I went out and I bought some chicken for the purpose of stewing it up and letting it last for a few days. So that's something that I'm kind of looking into right now. You guys are making me so hungry. I feel like I'm gonna have to end this stream soon just so I can go eat, because man, my stomach is starting to say, "You're hungry! You're hungry! You a hungry boy!" Zeus says, "Oh, pan stew is a good way to make a lot of food for not much money." Yeah, I could see that. I definitely have a slow cooker, which is kind of nice. Plus, you can tweak the recipe to fit your tastes or what you have on hand. Maybe I'll go and do that. Maybe I'll go... I'm coming up with plans now. Now I actually want to cook something. Not necessarily just have something hot and prepared. I kind of want to actually cook something. DLG says, "Are you saying that cheddar might be blue cheese now?" Oof. Ugh. Blue cheese is good. I love blue cheese. But moldy cheddar? Nah. Not good. Not good. Let's see here. Hobbs, you always got a job. Just put on a dress wig and makeup and hop on the street corner. Your butt onions need fertilizer. Okay, Baz. You got it. You got it. Oh, goodness gracious. I've been eating a lot of chicken lately, and I have been craving beef. You know, I have not had any good beef in a while. So maybe what I'll do, what's a good, easy way to cook up some beef? I could probably go out and buy like a cheap, like chuck roast or something like that, and then slow cook it into like a stew maybe. It's been a long time since I've done anything like that, though. I think I have a recipe for it somewhere. That might be kind of interesting. Like a good chuck beef stew would be pretty tasty, actually. I'd be probably pretty down for that. It would take some work, though. And the problem is, too, is that would take a long time to cook, right? So it probably even wouldn't be ready if I wanted to have it by dinner. So maybe that's not the best option. I don't know. Zeus says cast iron is best, essentially a meat-based canned vegetables, some water or broth, and then seasoning. That might be kind of good. I do actually have some canned soups that I probably could use as a broth base or something like that. That might be a good idea. Ground beef works best. Maybe. If I had ground beef, though, at that point I would just want to like make a burger or something like that. That'd be really good. It's just been so long since I've like cooked any beef that I wouldn't know really what to do with it. I kind of want to try something different. God, I wish there were more restaurants nearby where I could just pick something up really fast and easy. It'd be beefy. But that's not really an option for me at the moment, is it? I'll have to carefully organize all my options after this. Zeus says, literally just plop it in the cast iron, hack it into tiny pieces, and let it brown before adding the rest. That's a good idea. That's a pretty good idea. Oh, that gives me a really good idea, actually, for something I could do. I actually have, like, it wouldn't be beef, but that actually, what you just said gave me an idea. I actually have the ingredients I would need to make a chicken noodle stir fry if I wanted, and now that you, like, it was literally you saying putting the beef in the pan and frying it up that made me realize that I could fry up some noodles and chicken and veggies. And I also have hoisin sauce and teriyaki sauce, so that'd be pretty good. You guys are giving me some good ideas here. DLG says, to quote the animated movie Aladdin, she's just a bit punch drunk. One too many hits on the snake. I don't recognize that line. I assume you're probably talking about Maz, though. Don't forget to season the meat. Yes, I know. I definitely know that, Zoo. That's for sure. Yeah. Oh, man, the idea of making a chicken stir-fry sounds really good. Even though I'm really craving beef, having some chicken, like a chicken stir-fry, sounds very good. And it's totally doable. I have the ingredients I would need to do that, so that is kind of a good idea. I would just have to... I would have to wet the noodles and boil them for a little bit, and then probably throw them into my non-stick pan. And I could throw the chicken in and throw the veggies in. I have like stir-fry veggies, so that's perfect. And maybe some spices, and then douse it in like hoisin sauce and teriyaki sauce. I don't have any soy sauce though, which kind of sucks. I should get my hands on a bottle of soy sauce soon. I wonder what I'd spice the chicken with. I guess I have some chicken seasoning. Maybe, maybe like, no, I could just fry it in the hoisin sauce, couldn't I? That would kind of give it like a good sweet and savory kind of flavor to it. That would be really good. Oh man, the gears are turning. The gears are turning now. All right, well, you know what, guys? It's been a while. I know it's a little early, but I'm so hungry after this conversation we've had about food. So I think I am going to end it off here. So I'm gonna take off early and start cooking myself up some chicken stir fry. Helver Gamers, what is your deal, man? You always come in right at the end, bro. That's so funny. Glad to have you in here, but I do have to go, buddy. I'm actually planning on, we were talking about food, and now I'm really hungry, so I think I'm going to go and make myself a chicken stir-fry dinner. That sounds very, very good to me. But glad to have you in here nonetheless. Thank you so much. Zeus says, a dash of pineapple or orange juice really adds. I don't have either of those. I have some lemon juice, though. I have lemon and lime juice, so maybe I'll do that or something. Finished half the bottle. Excuse me. Finished half the bottle of Jameson, says Maz. Goodness gracious, girl. You're crazy. DLG says, go and eat. You need it. I appreciate it. All right, guys. I am going to head out. So thank you all so much for being here. I had a really good time. I will say all my normal things like I always do. Go ahead and like. Go ahead and comment. Go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and hit that notification bell. Do all those things. They really help me out, guys. I super appreciate it when you do it. If you go and check in the description below, I have some wonderful links such as Streamlabs and PayPal. You can donate to me there if you so choose to. I also have a wonderful PayPal where I am treating all of my wonderful I meant to say Patreon. I have a wonderful Patreon full of wonderful Patreon members who are now gaining access to early content as well as uncensored content. So if you want to check out any of that stuff, go over there and check it out. And I greatly appreciate the donations because the donations really help me do all the wonderful things I do over here on the channel. And the money goes to the channel as well. So go ahead and check it out. I'm also going to give a wonderful shout out to my Patreon members, which is ya boy Lettuce, Bo Falcon, Fajuk, James P., Rebecca, and Ashed. So thank you to all my Patreon members for supporting me. I greatly appreciate you guys. And other than that, I'm going to say the very last thing, which is, guys, go and follow your dreams, okay? Have a nice St. Paddy's Day. I will see y'all